Hello and welcome to Diablo 4 performance review. This time we will be doing a little bit different, where I will show a bit of gameplay, but I will also show comparisons between the different graphical settings, and I also have come up with my recommendation for the graphic settings that give a lot of FPS at the same time as not dropping the quality too high. First off, the shaders are cleared and DLSS is off and reflex is off, and in this specific clip we have turned on max settings with max ray tracing, and you can see we're barely getting over 30 FPS in some places, mostly are under 30, and it's really stuttering, which is not that good to play with, and there is no shady compilation in this game, so it compiles shaders on while you play it, which isn't the best, and I would really love it if they had shady compilation, because when you then restart the game or come back to places, you'll see that the FPS is a lot better than the first time you were there, which is really annoying, because when I did this, the game crashed and suddenly the FPS was immensely better. It was so huge. So I really hope they add a shady compilation one day. Now we will start with the comparisons and my recommended settings. So first is texture quality. The FPS is really similar on everyone, but it depends on how much VRAM you have. I myself have 16 GB, so the FPS doesn't really that matter. And I also have installed the high resolution pack, which is like a free DLC on Steam, which increases the resolution on Ultra. But I would recommend medium, because if you have a lower VRAM, then you might not be able to play at high and Ultra at all. So just take medium, and you can, if you have a beefy computer, take high, or maybe even Ultra, but mostly high for beefy and medium for everything else. Now over to Anisotropic Filtering, where I would just not recommend 16x and go for 18x or 4x depending on your computer. Now I have moved the text around because I barely found any place in the game where there were any shady quality difference, and only here, if you see at the bottom, there's like icy pickles that go down from the house, and you can see there at low, medium and high, you can see a small difference. That's all the difference I have found in the game, and if there's anything else I have completely missed it, but I would at least recommend high in case there's a difference. But in case there's a huge FPS difference other places, then medium, but I would go high. Again, I can't even see the difference here, even if there's FPS difference at least a bit here, but I at least pick high. I tried really hard to look very closely, but I can't seem to find any difference. Again, same thing, train geometry detail, I couldn't find any difference, so I will go high again. Finally, some difference. So Clutter, there's a bit of difference on everything almost, except from high to highest, and the FPS is insane, so never pick highest. And I will probably go for medium, as it gives the least amount of difference in performance and also gives the highest quality for the FPS. And if you really struggle, go low, and if you still struggle, then off, but like, don't, if you can, choose medium. So on fog quality there, I actually seem to prefer low quality. I don't know if it's just preference, but on very high it's like a bit weird to see. Yes, it's more see-through, but I preferred low, and it also gives you the most amount of FPS, so I picked low. For fur quality, I would prefer high. it gives a little bit FPS dip, but it looks a lot better than medium and low. But I also didn't find any other places of fur. There might be on some clothing and armor that I didn't see right now, but I know of a few places where there is fur. So I will prefer high, but if you still see FPS problems, then turn it out to medium. Reflection, I would just take low. There's barely any difference that you can see, but there's also a small, just a very little performance difference. So this is mostly preference, but I picked low for this. For SSR or screen space reflections, I personally took off, and you can see there's a small difference in the water where there's a reflection, and the FPS there's a little difference, but preferably off, because there's so few reflections and it just gives you a little bit more FPS, so you can have a little bit higher on something that actually matters. For anti-aliasing quality, I can't see any difference, so I just picked high, and there's also like a very little performance difference. And if you are struggling really hard, just take it to low, but just take high if you're not. Now, this may actually come as a shock when it comes to ambient occlusion. There's actually, first off, there's a huge performance difference, and just never pick ultra. There's no difference, it just gets darker. And if you could choose, then it will be high or medium if you wanted to do, but I actually preferred off. Not only does it make it easy to see things or enemies at all, the FPS is a huge improvement. If you would want it, then take low, but like there's very little difference at all at this, so either off or low. For shadow quality, I would prefer high or medium. There's not that big of difference in quality, but the performance is big, so you should choose medium, and if you can, take high. For contacts shadow quality, I couldn't even see the difference at all. I tried really hard, and there's clearly an FPS difference, but I couldn't see it, and I picked low. If you can actually find it and you don't like it, take it on medium. Don't take it on high. For particles quality, there's really no difference at all. There's like some for spells, but like you could take medium if you didn't like low, but I would prefer low and take medium if you didn't like it that much. Now we start getting into the places where there's really impossible to see any difference at all. And first of it, water simulation quality. I couldn't see any difference at all, and I just picked high because there's no performance difference at all. So pick high. Now on physics quality, there I still couldn't see any difference, but apparently it also changes the breakables and stuff, which is a bit nice. So I would pick medium. There's a small difference between low and medium, and there's a little bit bigger on medium and high, so pick medium, and you could pick high, I guess, if you don't like the physics at medium. Now we're at ray tracing, which I just want to say turn it off, because there's a huge performance difference. Starting off with ray tracing shadows quality, you can clearly see that on high there's just a ton of FPS loss, and you only see a difference between low and off. I am struggling to find any difference, and I chose the only place where I could mostly see differences, and there's only between off and low, and between medium and low there's just never take medium or high. If you're gonna have shadows, take low on ray tracing. First off, you're clearly seeing that the FPS is hugely higher than before, but this is mostly because now the game crashed while I was doing it, and when I came in again, it actually applied the shaders it had compiled while I was doing the tests before. So that's why there's a so big difference now. But first off, don't take ultra, and if you're gonna have on reflections, then take it at high, because I couldn't find any difference on low, but on off and low they seem to be exactly the same, so either off or high, but I took off. Now for ray traced particles, I'm struggling to find them, but I think it is mostly for spells, so you could choose on if you prefer them, but it depends. I will just pick off, and sorry for the looping, the clip was very short. Now for ray tracing, for my settings, for the things we have come to so far, so I would just generally say ray tracing is off, and sorry for the problems with the FPS. I have no idea what happened here, and I tried multiple times, and it was like this, and I don't know why. Probably just this place, and it was probably because of the players running around all the time, and I don't know what's the problem, but at least there is a small problem with the ray tracing on low being actually the baddest on the performance, and I actually I took the highest FPS and for low, because it was like really weird, and the lowest for medium and high and ultra, which was a bit weird that it came up like this. But at least if you're gonna have ray tracing enabled, I would highly pick that you have low on shadows and high on reflections, because that's where it makes difference, and you can just turn particles on if you have it on the others. Now we're back to the city, but now we have my settings that we have come to so far, and you can clearly see that there's FPS is a lot better, with now being 110 at least, and this may be because of the shady compilation, but it's mostly also my settings, and I would just recommend doing this, and I will also start playing with this. And if you can put DLSS on, it helps boost the performance a lot. And the frame gen is sadly off now because there were tons of bugs apparently, and ray tracing is really garbage in the DLC, and you will barely get any FPS, so I'll just go for my settings. And if you have a really beefy computer, you could probably turn on ray tracing a bit. But that's it for this video. I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe, and if you have anything you want to say to me, I will read it. If you just comment it, I read every single comment. Yes, there's 0 so far, but I at least read them all. And that's it for this video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.